All right, I'm rolling, so
All right.
let's do it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Alicia Cook. I'm a writer and I'm from Toms River, New Jersey. This used to be all lit up, but now he makes sure he still lights that branch there for me so I could still at least see the Christmas lights through that tree.
What is Toms River, New Jersey known for?
Little League, um, being very close to the beach. It's the largest school district in New Jersey, I believe. There's 4 high schools. I'm gonna take you to the super secret way to the bridge.
Okay.
There's no lights. It's just really nice that he still does that. Every year he says, this is the last year I'm gonna do it. He just told you that before, but it's not the last year. He's going to be doing that for me. I'm always here on Christmas. So yeah, this is home. My sister still lives here, my parents are here. But yeah, Little League, the beach, that's really what and a big school system. And heroin.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, but yes.
And the subject of a lot of your writing is that issue, that epidemic.
Yes, I write primarily on the heroin epidemic, but through the lens of the families, of the loved ones, what they go through while their loved one is battling addiction.
Is the cause of your interest in that because you grew up in this town?
It sort of bubbled to the surface again once Ocean County became #1 for heroin abuse. But really, I've been writing about heroin for a while. I lost my cousin to a heroin overdose about 10 years ago. When families go through this, a lot of them want to take a stand, help someone else so they don't have to live that story, that nightmare. So almost immediately, my Uncle Bobby went and spoke to Jess's high school regularly. Every year he would go. And then now we're approaching the 10-year anniversary mark. And I think it was in January, he said, Alicia, I'm thinking about doing it one more time. He said, why don't you speak with me?
Introduction. My name is Bob Cook. I'm a father. Not a drug counselor, just a father. On September 19, 2006, 2 Denver police officers showed up in my house, knocked on the door. My wife went to it, I was at work. And they said, can we come in? And she said, listen, my husband's overreacting. My daughter will show up, she's on a call today, we'll go get her, don't worry about it. Officer said, miss, can we come in? We'd rather just come in and talk to you. I'm not filling out any forms for missing persons. Don't worry about it. They finally got her in and sat her down and told her daughter died of a drug overdose in Aberdeen, New Jersey.
Jess was one of my first friends. I met her when she was born on March 3rd, 1987, just 10 months after me. We had a lot of the same interests, from music to poetry to really anything artistic. We loved the same food, like sushi and buffalo fries. We laughed together, cried over boys together, complained about our parents together. We grew up together until we stopped growing up together. I've been told I'm one of the last people to speak to Jessica before she went on to rehab and then died. The last person to speak to Jessica was her sister, Catherine. It's hard having small talk with a heroin addict because all you want to do most of the time is shake them and yell at them. But I tried. Then she said to me, as she sat in our recliner, I might not make it out of this alive. This was the first time Jess ever brought up her addiction without sounding defensive or arrogant. She sounded tired and she sounded scared. I naively responded, you can, just stop using. It's simple, just stop. No, it's not, she insisted. I get so sick. My mind is never quiet. I feel like a demon has taken over my body. You're killing your parents, I shot back, thinking that if I got defensive, I could somehow wake her up. She told me, I know. I'm killing them, I'm killing you, I'm killing Catherine and Mike, I'm killing myself. It is so much stronger than me. I wish I never tried it. She said she was going to try rehab again, and she did. She told me she was going to try her hardest and start working out again, and she did. But she didn't seem hopeful. We had so much fun together, right? She pointed to a picture of us that is on our family room wall. My mom, we've called it the wall of Cook. All the pictures my mother hangs up of us are on this one wall. I felt like she was saying goodbye to me, so I tried to be hopeful. Yes, we could still get back there, Jess. We have our whole lives. And then she said something that stuck with me forever and is the reason why I even have the career I have. She said, well, if I don't make it out, write about it. Don't forget about me. And then she made me pinky promise. It took some time, but I began to write about her as she wished. Unknowingly, her words have been echoed time and time again by her mother, who lives in fear that people will forget how awesome of a person Jess was before addiction took her over. But not long after that, we hugged, and she said, see you later, cuz, and she was gone. And the next time I saw her, was in a funeral home. So this is my aunt and uncle's house. Every family memory I have was either at my house or this house. And this hill, before it was landscaped how it is, I have a lot of good memories from the front yard. And picture, 10 years old, the hill was a lot bigger. We used to sleigh ride down it. I think it's just my favorite memory because that was, in hindsight, it's my favorite memory because a lot of times once addiction enters a home, and with some of the ignorance that's still out, a lot of people just want to break down addicts to this one-dimensional type of person. But Jess was just like anyone. She had this beautiful home. We played, and I like to remember, it reminds people that she was human, and she was so young and made a bad choice, which led to other bad choices, which led to her demise. But I just like holding on to that memory, I think, because it's my own memory, and it just, it's nice to remember being a kid.
I can remember working in the backyard, planning stuff and doing things, and just walking around. What age was it, Sid? Second grade. So how old? 8 or something, and walking in, and she's had this little cup with a little stick, and what do they call that? The little tree?
Sapling.
A sapling from school on Amber Day or whatever that is. And she said, well, where am I going to plant? I said, I don't know. They're fine. I said, well, just plant it. And the thing was about this big. I mean, look at it. I mean, we don't know what to do anymore. And it's just, I just think about it, and we're saying, like, well, if we do move, we're going to have to take it with us, we can't leave it. Somebody might say, I want that down. And I think what hurts the most is, well, we remember my neighbor, Dan, which was, part of the presentation. He knew how much I wanted to do. Next thing I saw him over here one day under the porch and in his things, and he put an outlet back there so we could put lights on it, and it lights up. And I think when we first did it, you reach for things, and what I was reaching for was, and I think I said it in one of the presentations, I said at night when it lights up, maybe she can look down and know where she lives, and it's a way to come home. You reach for a lot when you lose your daughter or a child. You reach for anything, and at other times it makes me very aggravated because, God, we put it there and I didn't do anything to it, and look at it. And yet I took care of my daughter every day of her life, and she's gone.
being there is always affects me, even if I don't say it out loud. But every time I'm there, every time I'm walking up that driveway, every time I'm sitting in their family room, dining room, living room, it affects me still, because she should be here.
Reminds him.
1993, it says on the back here.
Oh, where'd you get that?
Uncle Bobby just handed it to me.
Really?
I keep my stuff stashed around.
But here, you could lead the way.
No, this one?
This was Jessica's room, but now it's not. The house shouldn't be how it is. I even, every time I walk by the staircase that leads upstairs to where her room was, it's not even her room anymore, but I look up it and I just like, I don't know why I do that still. I don't have an answer, but that house holds a lot of memories that her and I had shared growing up, and even the bad ones, even the bad memories, and just seeing him speak about her in that house. I mean, it was hard for me, and I can't imagine how it was for him.
We have a picture in my wife's office up there, and I have actually one at work too, and it just says, "We laugh to survive." And for the parents out there that have lost some children, I mean, laughing is, trust me, it's not easy for us to do anymore, but we try to do it because, you know, just try to learn how to breathe every day, try to laugh a little bit, you know, I mean, we're the ones left behind to get up every day and realize what happened, and that's hard, very hard.
After my cousin passed away, my aunt and uncle started grief counseling. They were going to a support group with other parents who had specifically lost a child to addiction. And I had known that for years. They're still involved. But I never really asked about the facility. I just knew that they were helping them, and that's all that mattered. And then back in December, my aunt and uncle were over having dinner with us, and I mentioned to them that I was thinking about dropping a surprise book. And I said, I want to do something with the money though. And I was thinking on obviously addiction related, because that was already what I was becoming known for. And she said, well, donate the funds to Willow Tree if you're thinking of doing that anyway. And I said, what's Willow Tree? And she said, that's where your uncle and I have been going for years. That has the PELA group for parents who endured loss due to addiction. I emailed Sue and Charlie, and they were just so grateful and made me even more happy to have decided to do that.
Is it okay to hug a blogger?
You could hug a blogger.
Oh. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I think Charlie and Sue are integral to helping families. They really know what they're talking about, and I mean, they help my aunt and uncle.
The reason that I'm in this field is because my mother died of an alcohol and drug related suicide when I was 16 years old, and it hurt like crazy. And because of that, I wanted to do programming where I could teach initially other children of alcoholics and addicts how to take care of themselves, and if their parent got well, that's wonderful. But the focus was really on the family, that we can be well no matter what.
My getting into this field is a far less noble
I was going to ask.
reason than Sue. I got into this because I'm married to Sue, and it rubbed off on me, head to toe. So I've been doing this work with Sue for 21 years. Yeah, 21 years. And it's been a good change in professions for me.
What did you do before?
I was a pharmacist dispensing, that which I am trying to control now.
Charlie and Sue shine light on grief management, how families cope and heal after they lose someone to addiction. But I wanted to find out more about what is being done to help prevent the loss in the first place. I was invited to meet with State Congressman Tom MacArthur, who has been active on the policy level. I usually don't have a direct line to politicians like that, and we were welcomed into his home, and at first the congressman tried, MacArthur tried to give political answers, but that's not what we're trying to do here. I want candid candid answers.
But my role has two parts to it. One is the life of a lawmaker in New Jersey, or in Washington. I'll come back to that. But a big part of my role is just helping people here in Ocean County and in Burlington County. So I've been in Congress for 18 months, but I've been able to get things done that really mattered to South Jersey and I think to the country, and that gives me a lot of hope for the future too.
But he opened up as a father of someone who lost a child in a different way, but if you lose a child, and that empathy is there.
Our oldest child sort of grew us up quickly. She was born in 1985 with severe handicaps, and she was in and out of hospitals her whole life. And ultimately, she died when she was 11, and that changed my life, changed the way I see life.
He discussed what he's been doing. He's part of a bipartisan heroin task force.
We proposed 18 bills, I guess about 3 weeks ago now. We voted on them, and they all passed. And they were all focused on either trying to prevent in various ways, education, law enforcement, all kinds of different things, because this area is struggling. The epidemic that is affecting the whole country is worse in New Jersey than anywhere. We have a soaring death rate in the country, and New Jersey is 3 times that death rate. And Ocean County is unfortunately one of the most hard-hit counties, and it's heartbreaking. This week, I got more calls about heroin issues than any other subject. I know 2 families that lost sons from a heroin overdose. One is a good friend of mine. It doesn't know any boundaries of age or race or ethnicity or gender, and I think we have to tackle this by every means possible.
I'm often contacted by people who read and know my work. A lot of times, it's family members who are dealing with an addict. Sometimes it's by people in the field of rehabilitation. In the case of Adam Mogul, it was both. He's a retired cop, now working at a rehab facility, and he also happens to be the father of a recovering addict.
On a call, there might be a subject walking down the street, and you would get phone calls or just see the individual staggering down the road in the middle of Route 9, and you would pull them over. I would pull over, talk them to the side, and you would notice that obviously they were under the influence. The first thing they would tell you is, leave me alone, I'm okay. And you knew that you couldn't leave them alone. If their safety at all if you thought they were that bad, yeah, of course, you would call the ambulance and get them help. But, majority of times if they're talking to you, or, your job was to make the arrest. And as a police officer, you're trained to do that. Where are we trained to help the individual, to have compassion? No.
Addiction is a dirty word in this country, very dirty word, because, if you're associated with addiction, then you are not an outstanding citizen.
Approximately 12 years ago, working as a police officer in Waretown, being a cop, being a supervisor eventually, and learning what I do for a living, I was hit with a major blow in my personal life. I was married, had 3 children, tried to do everything the American way of life. Well, it didn't happen in my life. I ended up having a daughter that became addicted to heroin.
I was trying to help an individual, and the parents were debating whether they should pay for treatment for their daughter. And I went back and forth with the family, negotiating price with them, and trying to say, look, let's just get your daughter into treatment. Let's worry about that. I understand that's a very costly thing. Their insurance was not good, but they were able to pay some money. So I said, let's work on it. And they were debating back and forth what they should pay. And with that amount of time, I was talking to the individual that was under the influence, and it was very tough talking to her. And within 3 weeks, she overdosed and died. And that hit me hard.
When I used to drive people up to the jail, I would talk to them and say, hey, look, you know, I know of a certain rehab. Why don't you give it a shot? Why don't you give me a call when you get out? You know, was I unique? I don't know, but that's something that I did. I didn't do it to everyone, but the person that was cooperative, I tried to help out. Recently, I got a text message from a wife thanking me for giving me her husband back, and they have 2 children, and she was just very grateful that they were able to spend Christmas together and have things back to normal. And, you know, though it was very touching for me, I say this all the time, I just opened the door. But at the same time, my family suffered tremendously. And I guess the moral of the story is, or the good ending is, I have a good ending. You know, to this present day, my daughter is in recovery, doing well, and she's alive.
Everyone I've connected with, that I've met, people I communicate with now almost every day, we shouldn't know each other. There's nothing binding us together. I shouldn't know these people exist. They shouldn't know I exist. The only thing we have in common on the surface is heroin. We were either addicted ourselves or loved someone that was addicted. And that's enough to tie us together. Again, it goes back to the solidarity. You went through this, so am I. How can we make a difference? Maybe we can make a difference together. And they're some of the best people I've ever met, and we share this common trauma and heartache.
Don't let anybody tell you that you're never gonna be a star. Don't let anybody tell you that you shouldn't listen to your heart. 'Cause if I could do it, you could do it too. And if he could do it, you could do it too.
Ada
And if she could do it, you
was
could
one of
do it
those people
too.
that just blindly emailed me. And she said, I have an addict in my immediate family. It's breaking my heart. It's breaking my mother's heart. It's been years. And she said, I want to write with you. I want you to write something. I want to put it to music. I want to collaborate. I want to make a difference.
Things will happen for a reason, even if you do not know the reason why.
I want to do more than just write songs about my breakups, you know? I'm so grateful for those songs that I have because they made me a songwriter, you know? But now that I already have those songs, I want to be writing about really important topics that can help people, that can help addicts and families of, and I want to spread a positive message of healing and do whatever I can with my talent to really make changes.
What made you in that moment email me? Because as you know, I write on addiction. I get emails every single day from different people. So
Yeah.
why on that day did I get an email from you? Not that I'm not happy, I did, but.
Well, that day I was in a lot of pain, which isn't uncommon for me. I'm pretty much almost constantly in a lot of pain and worry. You know, someone in my family has been struggling for many years with drug addiction, and it takes a really, really big toll on the family, as you know. And I heard your story, and I just wanted to connect with you. We're both you know, close in age, and I feel like I feel your pain. I was almost used to it, you know, because it had been so long that this person in my family was doing this drug, and I felt like I was losing him, you know.
Is this person in your life still using?
He was sober for a while, and that hole in my heart had healed, you know. But then he relapsed.
Take your time.
And yeah.
So, yeah, what still kept you hopeful?
It makes me feel better that I might be able to help somebody with my song. Hopefully him, many other people. If not him, God forbid, then maybe somebody else, you know? We have a voice, we have a message, we have experience.
Yes.
I think we really need to speak up and do as much as we can to create a change, you know, to create hope.
Oh, I believe in you. Oh, I believe in you. Oh, I believe in you. Oh, I believe in you.
Thank you.
Do you have any kind of final thought or answers to any of the questions that you started this process with?
Well, I wish I had more answers, but final thoughts, I would say, being reflective, it's been 10 years since I lost my cousin. It's been about that long that I started educating myself on heroin, writing about heroin, and drug addiction and mental illness. But it's been 10 years and I've come to terms with the fact that I'll never come to terms with the facts. I'll never know why. A lot of families will never know why. I do not know why this drug entered our home and our family through the bloodstream of someone I love more than I could comprehend. I'll never know why this had to happen and why this continues to happen at a very high rate to families just like mine. What I am, though, now that I wasn't before, or more so now that I was before, is I'm more hopeful. Meeting everyone I've met, there's so many go-getters and difference makers out there just like me that have been directly affected by this epidemic but have chosen to take their grief and their tragedy and their pain and try to make a difference. You know, if it's changes in policy or helping families or just trying to break the stigma. I'm more hopeful that one day, because of people that I've met, people like us, one day we may be able to answer why this happens, why addiction enters homes, and maybe we could prevent families in the future from experiencing a tragedy like this.
We are exactly what you see, bruised and scraped up knees. Still we find our way. Some come as quickly as they go. Some choose their own roads. Still they find their way. And God knows how hard it is to lose. Pray to whichever one you choose, that you will find your way. Now we find our way. Now we find our way. Now we find